Do you want to know why I hate cybersecurity boot camps? Well, in this video, we're going to talk about cybersecurity boot camps and why I hate them in most situations. But first, if this is the first time that we're meeting, welcome to my channel. My name is John Good, and here I get to spread my passion for cybersecurity training, tips and tricks, and career advice to help you go further. Remember to smash the thumbs up to like this video, hit the subscribe button and the bell icon so you don't miss future content, and make sure to leave a comment for the YouTube algorithm. Check out my website at johngood.com for more training without advertisements, resume reviews, career advice, and consulting services. Also, if you're trying to break into cybersecurity, check out my Getting Started page for free resources and a free copy of my ebook on cybersecurity careers. All right, let's get into the video. One of the questions that I get frequently asked about cybersecurity training is, should I attend a boot camp? Knowing what I know about boot camps versus the alternative, it actually makes me cringe because just like a college degree, that actually might not be the best solution for everybody, even though it seems like it's the quickest. First, let's talk about what boot camps are, and then we'll talk about the different types that are being offered. Think about a boot camp for military. It's basically the same idea with cybersecurity. It's a condensed training environment that's going to make you a basically trained professional. You should never attend a boot camp with the idea that you're going to come out as an expert or even a highly trained professional once your course is complete. Boot camps take topics from everywhere in cybersecurity and they bring them together to give you light exposure. So that way you hear a little bit about everything and you're not completely lost if you're in a meeting and you hear about some random topic. All right, now that we know what a boot camp is, let's go ahead and take a look at some options. The first option is going to be the university route. So what happens is these traditional universities, they have these programs and they give you a certificate of completion at the end. So similar to like any normal traditional institution, you're going to see things like degree type programs, and those include high costs. So you have to be careful. A big downside of these programs, besides the cost, is that you really don't get any industry recognized certification. You just get the one from the university, and it's nowhere near as valuable as a degree. Additionally, you might spend like 6 months on these programs. That can be a lot of time. So you can see on the screen here, this one that I found is from Arizona State University, and you can see here 24 weeks that you're going to have to spend on this program. That can be a lot, and you could actually use a lot of that time to get other certifications. So it's something to consider. But if we scroll down here and we look at some of the details, so they're a CompTIA partner, which is great because CompTIA is one of the industry recognized certification bodies. And you can kind of look through here and see what's offered. Now, interestingly enough, I looked up another one and I found the University of Minnesota. Well, it looks like they're using the same kind of platform. And I'm guessing a lot of universities are probably going to go to this similar kind of thing because 24 weeks, the website is almost identical to the Arizona State one. And you can see, it really is a lot of the same information, right? So I wanted to see how much this program costs. And so I went to Google and I searched for it. And I found that you're going to spend just under $14,000 for this program. If you're just getting into the field, that can be pretty expensive. Now, the second option is through vocational type businesses like New Horizons, or there's a whole bunch of other ones. And typically they're focused on specific certifications instead of just general training like you might see with the university programs. These boot camps typically last a week or so, maybe a little bit longer, and they typically cost between $2,000 and $3,000, which is great. But if you look at the study materials, they might not be that different than the self-study materials that you can just buy for less. The nice thing with these programs is they focus on industry certifications. And even though they're short, which requires extra study time, because let's face it, you're not going to learn a full certification in a week, but they're a better return on your investment. So I went ahead and pulled up New Horizons Bootcamp for Security Plus, and you can look through here, but you can see it's just under $2,500, and it's really just focused on the certification. Again, these certifications mean a lot in the industry as far as getting jobs, applying to jobs, getting past HR. There's a lot of benefits to certifications, and they really have a lot of value. So this is definitely something to consider if you're looking at boot camps and you're really set on one. And frankly, I prefer these over the university programs. Now, the third option that exists is through organizations like SANS and GIAC certifications. If you're familiar with SANS or GIAC, they're really well known in the industry. And even though this is similar to the second option that we just went over, it's significantly more expensive. You're talking about $7,000 or more for the course. You could do the work study program and that will drop the cost a lot, but it's still not cheap. SANS and GIAC stand out because they actually have their own certifications that really stand out in the industry, where something like New Horizons, they're just training you for CompTIA or some other certification vendor. Another difference is that SANS actually provides you recorded training of a boot camp after your week ends. So you get access for up to 4 months while you're preparing. And that's different than the other boot camps because typically you're going to have the class and then it's going to be over, and all you'll have is the books or whatever study materials that they gave you. This is the website for SANS training, and this is for the SEC 401 or the GSEC certification training. And they give you a lot of good information in here, and you can see who the instructors are, which is great. But this is actually a really good course. I'm a huge fan of SANS and GIAC just because they're so well known in the industry. But for a lot of people, it can be challenging to get into one of these courses because they are so expensive, even with the work study program. But you can see the different things that are covered. And if you expand them, so like network security and cloud essentials, defense in depth, vulnerability management and response, and so on. So it's a lot of good information. A lot of it isn't necessarily proprietary information, but a huge benefit with SANS training is that you get everything in one spot. If you were to look up all these different topics out there, it would take you a while probably to aggregate all this information. So again, I'm a huge fan of SANS, even though it's pretty expensive. I hope that you're enjoying the content in this video so far. If you are, make sure to hit the thumbs up to like this video. And if you think of any questions, make sure to let me know down in the comment section below. Also remember that this training and courses can be found on my website at johngood.com without distracting interruptions or advertisements. All right, let's get back to the content. Now let's talk about why boot camps typically don't make sense in most situations. Most of the time when I get asked a question about boot camps, it's because somebody is trying to get into cybersecurity without any experience or previous knowledge. As somebody that's been through a lot of boot camps, I can tell you, it's like drinking through a fire hose because they're gonna take all this information, most of which you've never seen before, and they're just gonna go rapidly through it. So it's gonna be fast, it's gonna be hard to absorb a lot of it, and especially if you haven't done any work beforehand, it's probably gonna make your head swell up and feel like it's gonna explode. Some of these subjects and certifications can get really complex, and they require that extra work outside of the boot camp. And it's just not possible in 1 week for you to absorb all that information. The second reason against boot camps is the cost. Like I said, some of these boot camps are really expensive, like SANS, $7,000. Are you gonna get a return on that investment? I don't know, you might not. I've had certifications and boot camps where I didn't get any return on it. Going back to one of our other examples that we showed, the New Horizons Bootcamp for Security Plus, well, that was about $2,500. So let's assume that that gives you the exam voucher and books. Well, the exam voucher and books are gonna run you about $400, and then let's say video training is anywhere from free to $50. So we'll just call it $500 to make it easy for self-studying. That means you're overspending by $2,000. Is that worth it? It might not be, honestly. Now, don't get me wrong, boot camps can be useful, and I'm a huge fan of SANS training, like I said, but many people don't have the funds to actually go into these SANS courses unless their employer is sponsoring the training. There's no reason to go broke on this stuff when you can self-study a lot of it. I typically tell people to wait till they have at least 3 years of experience and then some of these less expensive certifications out of the way before they actually start worrying about boot camps, unless your employer is going to pay for it, of course. Now, I'm not saying that rule is set in stone. You can obviously do what you want, but part of working in cybersecurity requires you to have some discipline and learn things on your own. So it's a good thing to practice directly from the start. Question of the day. Have you ever attended a boot camp? What was your experience at the boot camp? Let me know down in the comment section below. Take what I said on boot camps to heart. I'm not making money either way, but I want you to get the best return on your investment. There's been times where I've spent thousands of dollars on training and I've gotten literally zero return on that. I don't want you to make that same mistake. Remember, it's not always about how much you spend, it's how you spend it. As always, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Check out my website at johngood.com for more training without advertisements, resume reviews, career advice, and consulting services. And I'll see you next time.